got some breaking news for you folks. I've got lots of news for you. As a matter of fact, it's not every day I get to bring you lots of good news. There is one piece of bad news I want to let you know if you don't know already. They're trying to make, Letitia James is trying to make Trump pay $454 million as a part of his bond agreement to appeal his case to a different court that would definitely rule against Letitia James and their bullshit case against Trump. They're literally trying to force Trump into being in a situation where he can't afford to represent himself or afford to take it to the next level. Now, I don't believe that this is going to fly. There is a contingency in the 8th Amendment about due process and about unfair treatment and about excessive fines and penalties involving things like bond. So I believe this may not happen immediately, but I do believe that Trump will not have to pay this $454 million. They're trying to appeal for a smaller amount, but it is ridiculous. They're literally trying to bilk Trump for about $1 billion between all these court cases, between fines and appellate fees for the bonds and things of that nature. They know exactly what they're doing. They're literally trying to financially cripple the man, and it's a sad situation. But I'll get past that because it's not going to fly. It's just one more attempt to shoot an arrow at Trump. Not doing too good. They're not doing too good at this point. Seems like every time they try to take Trump out, it backfires on them. So we'll have to see how this goes. But I do got lots of good news. It says, breaking news: in a major blow to the Biden regime, Supreme Court allows Texas to enforce the immigration law that gives police the power to arrest illegals and to continue to build the fence. Now, this is a temporary action, but at the moment, it does look like we can arrest them if they step across that border anywhere but a port of entry. Now, I'm going to read you a little bit about this and go straight on into the next story. Trump was on fire today. He actually has got some litigation going against ABC and George Stephanopoulis. Stick around, folks. We have got a little bit on that. I've got Ron DeSantis pissed off about the Haitians coming in. Got a little video clip about that. Like I said, stick around, folks. It's guaranteed to be an action-packed, lots of information type video. Got my goggles on. It says, Supreme Court today allowed Texas to enforce immigration law that allows police to arrest illegal aliens. The Supreme Court's conservative majority rejected an emergency application by the Biden regime request in higher courts to block Texas immigration law. That Mayorkas tried to get some of them lawyers to block this SB4 bill that has been passed through the House and the Senate here in Texas. The High Court temporarily rejected Biden regime's request as litigation makes its way through the courts. Texas immigration law still may be blocked at a later date. That's always a possibility. But at the moment, the Supreme Court has ruled that it will allow Texas to enforce, for now, a contentious new law that gives local police the power to arrest immigrants. The conservative majority court, with 3 liberal justices dissenting, rejected an emergency request by the Biden administration, which said states have no authority to legislate on immigration, an issue the federal government has sole authority over. So the 3 lefties on the Supreme Court weren't trying to hear it, but we got that majority, 6-3, folks. That means the law can go in effect while litigation continues in the lower courts. It will still be blocked. It could still be blocked at a later date. But at the moment, we got us a win, folks. It says in December, Governor Abbott signed a bill that gives Texas police power to arrest illegal aliens amid the Biden border invasion, otherwise known as SB4, passed in the House and the Senate previously. Biden's deliberate inaction has left the state of Texas to fend for itself, Abbott said, adding the new bill is designed to stop the tidal wave of illegal entries into Texas. Awesome. And I seen yesterday, I was watching on Greg Abbott's channel. They're actually building the wall in real time. 15 hours ago, they were putting up 2 more panels of the fence. It says at the Texas-Mexico border today for a bill signing ceremony that will take hashtag Operation Lone Star to the next level. Join me live as I sign historic border security legislation into law. And you can go over to Greg Abbott's channel and watch him put the fence up if you so choose. It's actually kind of nice. So the Attorney General Ken Paxton tweeted out earlier, huge win. Texas has defeated the Biden administration in the ACLU's emergency motion at the Supreme Court. Our immigration law, SB 4, is now in effect. As always, it is my honor to defend Texas and its sovereignty, to lead us into victory in court. Awesome news, folks. That's the good stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Let's hope this thing stays. Now, we've got immigration problems as well from Haiti. Haiti is falling apart right now, as you know, if you watch any news. And Biden administration is trying to send them all to Florida, of course. And they're like, oh, boy, we got some more voters. Says the Florida governor added, if the migrants do reach the shores, they could be sent straight to the wealthy and heavily Democratic Massachusetts town of Martha's Vineyard, where Barack Obama owns a multi-million-dollar property. And I'll let you hear it for yourself. Biden is talking about importing all these poor Haitians straight into Florida. Haiti is currently in a state of anarchy following collapse of government and a territorial advance by various violent gangs. The U.S. has evacuated most of its embassy staff in the worsening situation. And before Biden's even concerned about our people over there, our citizens that are over there, our humanitarian aid people that are over there helping, before he's worried about all of those people, he's more worried about bringing a bunch of these Haitians in, future voter base, and putting them in a red state, of course, Florida. Well, DeSantis ain't trying to hear it. Check it out.
Could we do as states? I definitely think we can.
All right, let me back this up, folks.
The problem when you get to a situation like Florida is if they have people in our state and we wanted to fly them, say, back to Haiti, you have to get clearance to be able to do that. If you wanted to fly somebody to a South American country, wherever they're from, it becomes a little bit more difficult because the federal government's going to tell the host countries not to accept our planes. So we've gone through these iterations. What could we do as states? I definitely think we can help put them back over the border if they come across in Texas or Arizona. And so I'd be willing to help do that. I think that the states really have no other choice to do that at that point. It's a little bit different for a maritime state like us. That's why we really have to get them before they reach the shores. And that's why we're working so hard to do that.
Yeah.
Although I will say this, we do have our transport program also that's going to be operational. So Haitians land in the Florida Keys. Their next stop very well may be Martha's Vineyard.
That's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it. That's what needs to happen. We need to send them all up there to Martha's Vineyard or send their asses back home. When a country is falling apart, it is not the United States' job to take anybody that wants to show up from that country in as new citizens. It is not our job. Without borders, we do not have a country. Just the facts, folks. I'm glad DeSantis is trying to play this the right way. Got two more lots of news for you, folks. Here we go. This is good stuff, too. Now, I know everybody's seen my video that I put out about a week ago, and it had Nancy Mace on there. She was being interrogated and intentionally intimidated by George Stephanopoulis. He was doing his best to shame her about the fact that she is a rape victim and trying to get her to say how could she support Trump, him being a rapist and her being a rape victim. Well, it didn't go so well for George Stephanopoulos. He just looked a fucking fool. Pardon my language. It was really offensive to watch. As a matter of fact, my wife watched it and was mad. And she watched George Stephanopoulos for years and years. She couldn't believe it. Get to see the real George Stephanopoulos. Well, I was listening to a report earlier about George Stephanopoulos, and they were talking about how he was an enforcer for Bill Clinton and a speechwriter, meaning if you are one of the many 20, 30, 40 women that have allegations against Bill Clinton, even some from the island, well, he had his speechwriter, George Stephanopoulos, be the guy to get on the phone to threaten you within an inch of your life, threaten to ruin your life, or pay you off, whichever way they decided to handle it. But George was that guy, no doubt about it. That's why it's so easy for him to get on ABC News and hate on Trump and lie to America because he's still in bed with the Democrat Party. It's just the facts, folks. But the way he treated Nancy Mace that day, I was thinking, this guy is a disgrace. And I also thought about this. How can this guy get away with saying untrue statements about Trump and there not be any defamation suits? Well, guess what? It's happening, folks. Trump files a lawsuit against ABC and George Stephanopoulis for calling him a rapist during the interview with Nancy Mace. And he didn't just call him it one time, 2 times, 3 times. He insinuated it. He said it. He used the word liable and just straight up lied his ass off. He tried to make it sound like Trump was criminally charged for something that he wasn't. So, former President Trump has filed a defamation lawsuit against ABC and George Stephanopoulis. There's a good way to make some money, Trump. I'd be suing a lot more than them two. I'd be suing Adam Schiff and several other 51 intel agents and Chuck Schumer and a lot of the folks that have done their Barack Obama and Joe Biden, the folks that have done their best to destroy your credibility as a human being. That's defamation, remember? Letitia James says, the Gateway Pundit previously reported that sniveling former Bill Clinton henchman George Stephanopoulis attempted to shame Nancy Mace as a rape victim that blew up in his face on This Week. Stephanopoulis started his interrogation on that Sunday by demanding to know why she endorsed Trump after a corrupt leftist jury found him liable for defaming certified nut E. Jean Carroll. And the Clinton crony Stephanopoulis said Trump was found liable for rape. Carroll had outlandishly claimed Trump had raped her, and then they basically dumbed down the charge to say it was groping or something to that nature. Says Mace responded by going speaking briefly about her own dramatic experience at the age of 16 and blistered Stephanopoulos for daring to lecture her. She says, "It'll a shame you will never feel, George. I'm not going to sit here on your show and be asked a question meant to shame me about another potential rape victim. I'm not going to do that." And I know most of y'all have seen this video clip, so we'll go on and skip down here past the run-up, and we'll go ahead and tell you what's really going on. It says these statements were and remain false and were made by defendant Stephanopoulis with actual malice or with a reckless disregard for truth, given that defendant Stephanopoulis knows that these statements are potentially and demonstrably false. This is part of the court docket. It says defendant Stephanopoulis made these defamatory statements, which were communicated and published to third parties within the scope, of course, of his employment contractual relationship with the other defendants, with intent to harm plaintiff, given that. Meaning he told the whole world a lie about Trump in order to defame Trump. Inter alia, I'm guessing that's a Latin term, defendant Stephanopoulis was and is aware of the truth regarding the determinations made by the subject's juries, and also because his defamation statement appears to have been prepared in advance and were written on notes that he was reading from while making this defamatory statement. So it wasn't shooting off the cuff. This was all planned. He had actually wrote it out. He knows he was lying. They know he knows he was lying. Defendant American Broadcasting Company, ABC Incorporated, Inc., ABC News, participated in the publishing of a false and defamatory statements made by defendant Stephanopoulis and otherwise authorized, approved, or consented to defendant Stephanopoulis making a false defamatory statement about the plaintiff. The plaintiff has suffered and will continue to suffer harm as a direct result of the defendant's conduct. And there is this here is the actual court docket for the Southern District of Court of Florida, ABC News, and George Stephanopoulis complainant and demand for jury trial. I love it, folks. It's happening. Got one more lot of news for you, folks. If my laptop doesn't die, it was just dinging on me, telling me my battery is low. We're going to try to cram it in real quick and get this done. All right, last lot of news, folks, is stacking the deck so Trump can win is what they're saying. leftist meltdown over Judge Cannon's jury instruction on Jack Smith's classified documents case. Now, Judge Eileen Cannon issued a jury instruction order that Jack Smith's classified document case and leftist legal analysts are going apoplectic. Cannon gave two options for jury instructions, and this is good news. Says the first option, in a prosecution of a former president for allegedly retaining documents in violation of 18 U.S.C. 793, a jury is permitted to examine the records by retaining the former president in his or her personal possession at the end of her presidency and make a factual finding as to whether the government has proven it beyond a reasonable doubt that it is personal or presidential using defamation set forth for Presidential Records Act. Meaning they're actually going to get to look into the information and to see what they're saying Trump did wrong. And secondly, let me see here. Okay. Apologize, folks. I lost my place. Second option, a president has a sole authority under the PRA to categorize records as personal or presidential during his or her presidency. Neither a court nor a jury is permitted to make or review such categorization decisions, although there is no formal means in the PRA which a president is to make that categorization. I mean, if Trump want to say they're all personal, his presidential records are all personal, he can do that. It says, an outgoing president's decision to exclude what he or she considers to be personal records from presidential records transmitted to the National Archives or Records Administration constitutes a presidential categorization of those records as a personal under the PRA. CNN legal analyst Norm Ellison said both the judge's candidate options for jury instructions are wrong. Well, sorry about your luck and your opinion, folks. But truth be known, yes, Julie Kelly, she says the meltdown is on. Why? As a J6 defense attorney just said to me, if Cannon gives the jury instruction, Jack Smith is effed. I love it. I love it. That's all I got for you folks. My laptop's about to die. I just want to let everybody know. Hope everybody's having a great day, and it's all good news with the exception of the bond Trump's going to have to figure out what he's going to do to pay. Like, subscribe, and share, Devoted Patriots. Everybody have a great day. Over and out.